So is it easy jumping back into the roles?
I feel like I have this relationship with Ty at this point that it wasn't easy, but it was definitely it's hard not to use the word easy.
It was like sophomore year, I think.
There we go.
You know, it was like freshman year.
Back,
we're like fresh meat, trying to figure out where we belong, what we do, why we do what we do, and now it's like, okay, now we have decisions to make. We need to buckle down. We need to get to business, and I think it is. It feels like sophomore year. I think it was like maybe it was a little challenging at first to sort of step back into the waters of Tandy and Tyrone, but I think they're still, they're the same people that they were before, with just a little more flavor to them.
Right.
And last season, Olivia, you were on the soundtrack. So Aubrey, we'll be hearing from you this season.
Yes.
Can you say any more about that?
No. No.
You just gotta listen.
Yeah.
Will we get any more covers out of you? Any other?
We'll see.
Duets?
I know. Well, I hope so. We talk about it all the time, and there's so many opportunities for us to do that, but it's got to feel right, you know.
Exactly.
And we don't want to force it. We want it to feel very authentic and organic to whatever the scene is or the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day. We'll see.
Maybe we'll do a whole musical episode. We'll see.
Okay. Where do you guys feel your characters can grow in the second season? Really develop?
I think both Tandy and Tyrone have a lot of big lessons to learn this season. Obviously, we touch on some pretty heavy topics. First season, we focused on police brutality, suicide, drug addiction, sexual assault, a lot of heavy stuff. Season 2, we dive into the realm of human trafficking, and it's very real, it's very alive, not just in the U.S., but in the whole world. And Tandy and Tyrone can sit there and they can talk about it, but the great news is they're not just talking about it, they're doing something about it. And so they definitely evolve in that way. They don't stop at no, which is one of the things that I admire most about both of them, is they can challenge each other. Like when one person says no, the other person can be like, well, yes, and here's why, or vice versa. And I think both of them sort of evolve in that way. Their powers have evolved so much more. We're not just teleporting or manifesting light daggers anymore. I mean, he's popping around so fast you can't even keep up with them. And Tandy has a lot of new tricks up her sleeve, and I think everyone's going to be really excited to see how they've grown, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally.
Right.
Why do you think people around the world love your show? What's the thing that people keep repeating to you that, I love the show because of this?
I definitely think it's Tyrone and Tandy's relationship. I would think so. A lot of people want them to be, more intimate, but I think the beauty of season 1 was just the fact that they were dedicated to being there for one another, more so than being, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It was more so about being that one person that cares enough to check on you and cares enough to help you in whatever way you need, and that companionship is something that we, obviously see in a lot of film and television, but not so much with a young black male and a young white, female. So I think it was an interesting, twist to have on television, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of people fell in love with, just seeing these unperfect teenagers and seeing themselves in, the things that we go through.
And with the introduction of mayhem this season, how is it going to affect both of your characters?
I think a lot of questions are going to be answered, but first there's going to be even more questions than you could even, there definitely mayhem has been introduced, and they are trying to grasp and cope with the idea of this thing that they were not expecting to. They had it under control, and now things are getting a little rocky and a little tricky, and so I think there's a lot of confusion and a lot of questions that need to be answered, but again, Tandy and Tyrone, they'll figure it out.
Well, the fact that mayhem is there, it's Bridges, this person that was trying to, how does that interact with their relationship and that dynamic change you talked about?
Well, to say, I don't want to Bridget respectively, comes back this season with a little, less pep in her step. She's kind of developed a little bit of PTSD from everything that happened. So you kind of see Ty and Tandy become these protectors for her and kind of like reassuring her that, everything is okay and that we have a job to do. Like we can't sit around and kind of wonder what's happening. We kind of just have to tackle it face, head on. So that's another aspect that you'll see this season as well.
Since a lot of your powers are added in post-production, have you gotten used to acting? Does it feel awkward at all? Or are you used to it?
Yes and no. It's kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff we have to do, because obviously a lot of the things go in after we're done shooting it. So sometimes you feel really dumb in front of like 100 crew members when you're like throwing daggers. You're not really throwing daggers, so like, just kidding, I totally am throwing daggers.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's definitely weird, but I think we've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
I think it definitely, especially because we're so comfortable with our characters now and we have such a grasp of who they are and what they're gonna do in certain moments, it definitely, it's fun. It's fun, it's weird, but it's totally fun.
Right.